We're looking at the mountain of education. I have with me one who is, permit me to introduce him simply, he likes that, who is a Google scholar and an independent researcher. He is the Dean of Diploma Studies, Bible College. He is also the Directorate of Teens and Children Education of RCCG Global, and that is no other than our very own Dr. Daria Ajayi. Welcome on this show, sir.
Thank you so much.
It's good to have you.
Same here.
Dr. Daria Ajayi is one who is stretched on all sides, and the interesting thing is he's able and capable, delivering excellently and optimally every sphere. So we do not take it for granted that you have this time to stay with us. So
thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. I'll just jump into the conversation today. Educationally, when we once say he has attained, when we talk about academically,
at what point should one be bold enough to have said I've attained to that point of academic excellence?
Yeah.
Maybe when you are dead.
Interesting.
I recall a long time ago, one of my professors, he was one that supervised my very first postgraduate degree research, by the name Professor J. Ilori, Emeritus. He's late now. He was one of the presidents of Nigerian Baptist Theological Seminary, and so he made my research at that point quite interesting because of his quality and his standard. He's quite an exposed person. So at the point I said, I think I've had enough. Always supervising students midnight, always wanting to. And so we had this back forth, quite an interesting but very painful experience for me that eventually turned out to become very great.
All right.
And then he said, I said I will be setting home, and he said, I just want to assume that one of these days you're going to be a PhD holder. I said, God forbid.
God forbid.
Because of what he took me through, I said no. So I said I was going home. He said, where are you going? I said, Baba, you are a scholar. It's late now, blessed memory. I said, you are a scholar. He looked at me. He said, but you know way more than I do. I said, no. How much? He said, no. Okay, you're considering that because I'm a professor, I'm an emeritus, I hold a PhD. He said, but all you don't understand is this. Each of the three stripes you find on our convocation gown, as a doctoral degree holder, each of those stripes, he said, if you want to make progress in life, that ensure that you keep reminding yourself that each of the stripes on that, you have three, essentially indicates I know next to nothing.
Oh boy.
And so if after so much attainment to that height, I know next to nothing, then that essentially means the fact that you only attain excellence when it comes to academics, when it comes to knowledge, at the point at which you just feel there's nothing else to know, there's nothing else to learn. But that will be at the point of death, of course, because the dead can't study.
truly they can't study. That means it's a continuous. And I would have loved to ask this question later, but you've already answered in passing, which you would have said, what is the thing that why do you keep it seems like you keep reaching out, you keep evolving, you keep going. And I wanted to ask that, but you have answered now, knowing where again you have pointed us out where that started from, and the encouragement of the professor.
Yes,
and truly I wish he was here to see that actually his dream and his prophecy is already being played out. All right, we move on to the next thing. How important is the role of education to nation building, sir?
Wow. It's like one trying to inquire to finding out the significance of oxygen to human.
That's deep thoughtful.
You can't build on nothing.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the reason why we have the passion and desire to launching out to doing something, to creating something out of nothing,
Yes, sir.
it will only be as a result of the knowledge that you have acquired over time that is propelling you to doing something. And so when it comes to education, essentially, it's all about learning. And so when it comes to nation building, with what do you intend to build? It's also essentially about knowledge. Whatever tool you intend to implement or intend to apply to implementing a dream or a vision, whatever you call it, be it a goal, a vision, a dream, a purpose, whatever it is, they are all a product of a processed knowledge. Something you acquired and seem to be telling you, I'm sure you're better than this.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're better than this. So if you want to build a nation, it will essentially have to be on the strength of the knowledge that have been acquired by the leaders concerned. And that essentially will now drive the direction they intend to take such a country, such a nation.
And that would make me ask the question, sir, if, which is obviously true, how is it then difficult for third world nations to pay attention to this? Because it looks like most of the time, even our budgetary system, even our approach, even the care of the educational instruments, facilities, personnel, and all is always not near half of their priority. I'm not talking about even the top now, being just somewhere in the average. It's always relegated somehow to the background. What do you think is responsible and what can be done?
Okay, if you're to mention the third world, I guess it's just a generic way of describing Africa and some of this.
Well, okay, developing words.
I think I'm more comfortable with that.
All right,
I'm more comfortable with that.
The developing words.
So the one, I think it's a function of the value system and the culture of any nation. You surely believe with me that you have some parents who never went to school.
Yeah.
But they quite understood the significance of knowledge and education. They never went to school, but they go all the while to ensure the fact their children are educated, their children are schooled. Why? Because they understood so well. You know, in defining education, we said education is a process of teaching and learning, which aim to equip and develop a learner with intention to getting him or her generationally relevant. So the future lies in education. What's been acquired? It's talking about teaching. Teaching has to do with the transfer of a body of relevant and related knowledge.
Yes, sir.
From a willing instructor to also a willing learner or a willing student. And so for the third, no, not the third world now, let's talk about the developing nations. There are a lot of issues on the plate of most of our leaders. And so they're more concerned about survival, the basic needs, housing, transport, amenities, and stuff. And so they tend to play down the need to getting people schooled. In most advanced countries that we have today, in the global north, for each of the universities, to the best of my knowledge, as at the end of May, the research made as at the end of May 2026,
yes, sir.
In 4 of the best universities you have in the US, in Canada, and in Germany, for instance, amidst the best 10 are usually children from the developing world. Because they're hungry for knowledge. There's this serious hunger for knowledge. They want to know more. But rather than having to also come back home, they want to sit back there. So most of our governments essentially, maybe either for lack of resources or for lack of true value a true knowledge of the value and the worth of education. They labor a lot for today, forgetting the fact that if only you get a child schooled, get a child educated, such a child is able to create a future that the government might not have been able to provide for. So it boils down to the issue of knowledge and understanding of the significance of education itself. Aside, but true to it, they have expensive, they have bills, they have focus to ensuring the fact that their citizens are well-to-do. But I think that point on education is quite important. Education is what has kept the global north striving.
Well, yeah.
It has kept them striving.
Bringing it to there's this shift happening globally, which is the transition to the AI systems. How would you describe its effects on education? Does it pose a threat, or are there opportunities? As they say commonly and easily, does it come to you, first of all, as a threat that is likely to take your job as an instructor, as a lecturer, as it is?
No, take my job? No. AI is just, artificial intelligence is just one of the means by which you empower or make your delivery way more powerful than it is. You have a whole lot of benefits to it. I will say this to you. Taking a walk, in other words, walking the streets,
yes, sir,
has an embedded risk. It also has its benefit. The channel to which you tune to will determine the program you watch.
Exactly.
To some person, oh, this is dangerous, this, that. I got to recall some years back, one of my senior colleagues is now out of the system.
Okay.
And we had a postgraduate program. So the leadership at the school, at the theological college just felt, no, okay, there's a need for us to empower our postgraduate supervisors, research supervisors.
Yes, sir.
So, but prior then, there was this devotion they had. It was his session, and he came and said, internet is the devil's workshop. You guys must keep away. In the time of old, our fathers never had access to it. He said so much, so students began to communicate with me. And because he was a senior colleague, I'm sure it was his background.
Yeah.
He was speaking from the angle of the internet being a threat.
Yeah.
For me, I saw it from the angle of being an advantage, and a progressive tool
yes, sir,
that will aid learning. So as soon as I got back, I met my head and I said, oh, since you said you want to assist postgraduate research supervisors, why not get us iPads? Say, wow, oh, that would be a good idea. So before I got in, one of my assistants was commissioned to get in those iPads. So he came around. As soon as I resumed, he said, oh, sir, we got this. So I sent him to my senior colleague's place. He said, so when you get in, ensure that your hotspot is on. And so once he got in there, he unpacked and began to trace his fingers on it. Oh, in case you want to read the news. This. So he observed with interest the finger moving, pew, 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 pew. So eventually he handed on his own system. The man was so grateful. You mean, the college could do this? He was excited. Now he wanted to connect. This gentleman disconnected his hotspot.
All right.
So he never had access to it. So he also placed his finger. The thing wasn't moving. He said, how come?
How come yours was moving? Mine
yours was. So he now says, sir, no, that's the internet. So he kept quiet. He said he kept quiet for a while. I said, please connect me also to it. I said, but sir, the last time during the devotion, you said internet is Satan's workshop. It's Satan's tool. We can't, because you are a very holy person. He said, my friend, will you connect this thing? The same applies to AI.
Yes.
See, once you jump into that ocean, your desire, your focus will determine what you get out of it. But it's a very good tool.
Yes, sir.
It's a very good tool. One of the risks, however, is that he gets you lazy. It tends to enhance or magnified lack of productivity in the life of those who are lazy and those who don't feel. It's just a tool, but you must also ensure that you are schooled on how to make use of it. If not, But it's a tool. We also must be careful because it has a way of trying to disfigure things, trying to repackage things, but it's not left for you to.
As they say, it has a good grasp as make-believe. So
right.
sometimes it can give you false information, making it look as though that's the real thing. Though it's still an advantage, it is and still is a tool. I like that conclusion you make, that it is a tool eventually. And I think the place where you talked about we taking advantage of it or maximizing it will now come back to the place of value that you mentioned earlier. If we don't have that culture for a value for discipline, for consistency and commitment, it will just give us that easy way out. Okay, for sake of time, let me also touch something else that is becoming a little concern to me, maybe my observation, myopic observation. I'm dealing with a researcher now, so I need to be careful what I say. The role of mentorship. It seems not to be pronounced anymore as it was prior now. Where would you put that? Is it the place of the mentees not wanting to be mentored now, or the mentors becoming too busy for the mentees, or what is the challenge and what can be done or should be done, sir?
Mentoring is something that's a process that is quite essential, regardless of the space where you operate. Because it's all about trying to raise the younger ones to taking over from the older ones.
Yes, sir.
And from my little findings, it's evidence to the fact that you're having a generation where a whole lot, not everyone, a whole lot of us as parents tend to have gotten our home training lessons to our children wrong.
How so?
When these children step out from their respective homes or family environments, what they were fed with before stepping out always impact on their perceptions and the value system they attach to anything around them. The second also is that a whole lot of time, some of us as mentors, we also make this mentorship process look like a mountain so high that you can't overcome by the processes and the methods that we've deployed. The other point to note is the fact that some of the persons wanting to mentor others don't even know what mentorship is all about. They don't know what mentoring is all about. And this generation of children, they're quite smart.
Yeah.
In the first instance, there's so much on the speed of an airline like United. They don't have the patience to be dragged down, to be slowed down in anything. So for each time they say, okay, let's give it a trial. And the persons they've encountered, they felt this person could be a better role model. They tend to identify some few pebbles.
Yes, sir.
And they engage us in wanting to know why this scar, why these pebbles. And we try to more like play a religious card around it. Over time, they find out the fact that we aren't speaking the truth. They just walk away. Quietly, with no disrespect. So, who exactly? Mentoring is important, but who should we consider qualified to mentor others?
Okay.
Among the few that essentially have found that the essence of this assignment, you have some who also have what I call a journey without a goal. And so what do? And these children are smart. And it's also affecting us now because you tend to have a generation of highly intelligent but characterless children.
Yes, sir.
Highly intelligent but characterless. a whole lot of them. But do we have to essentially take them to the sniver and nail them there? No, we have to come back and check, why isn't mentoring achieving its goal? We speak first to the mentors, maybe the process,
Yes, sir.
the system or the structure in place. Number two, we want to speak to willingness on the part of the mentees. And even when you have those who are willing, why taking them through the process? They also tend to identify or seem to have identified one or two loopholes in their mentors, rather than speaking the truth to the issue of growth and drawing the distinction between success and excellence.
Yes, sir.
Listen, I am mentoring you from the angle of success, but my focus is excellence, because success is an event, but excellence is a journey. It's possible to have had a very successful group managing director of a bank, highly successful when it comes to his career, but yet highly promiscuous. So what will be the value of these degrees and these certificates where there is no character and there's no value? So, gentleman, gentle lady, that weakness you spotted in me, that you found out in me, I've been working around it, but I don't want you to be like that. I don't want your Samuel to be like my Eli. I rather want you to eat of my strengths. Please concentrate on my strength, but keep praying for me. That's also to let you know the fact that even as your mentor, I also have areas of failings, but it is my best I want you to concentrate on. That's what I intend to pass on to you. I know you're also going to help me when it comes to my areas of weakness. Naturally, he looks so challenging. He looks so startling. When you say to a mentee, I also say, my boss is a great man. What's making you great in their heart is your level and degree of honesty.
Yes, sir.
Because when there's no sincerity in wanting to make him the best in the life of others, they have no business being around you.
True, true.
So sometimes this honesty tend to push them off. I am just as simple as I am. I love you. I want you to be better than I. That's my principle. I want you to be better than I. And so if tomorrow they get to find out areas of weakness, I said it earlier.
Yes, sir.
My intention is that you're going to be better than I. I'm going to teach you my strengths. I also expose to you part of my weakness, the ones I've been able to overcome, how I was able to overcome them, so that you'll be better than I. That's how to raise a generation of persons that will be way better than us.
It's okay, sir. Now, to tie most of what I we've said, because our time is fast spent, I know the church is doing greatly in terms of moving mountains in all of the spheres of influence. In fact, recently we talked about our very own in the house, whose bank just hits a new margin in the profit level. We also talked about another who is on his way to become the vice chancellor of a prominent university in Nigeria, and we're doing great there. How do we now, as a church, reposition or redefine or shape the influence so much so that all of these corrections will be able to influence them in the society and be able to do more, sir?
Able to influence society from the angle of correction, or
sir,
from the angle of impact?
From the angle of correction that will lead to impact, sir.
Okay. The church is a living organism, because it's referred to as the body of Christ. So that means it's self-sustaining. And so from the scripture, we found out the fact that the goal and the objective or the vision of Jesus is to present to himself a church that is without spot, blemish, nor wrinkle. Now that we begin to have some of our own attain some very wonderful strides.
Yes, sir.
How do we as a church harness these breakthroughs and these breakthroughs? One, I think it's important for us to first celebrate our own, appreciate God for their lives. Then we need to now try to see how we reorient our children to aim after excellence, not just about success, and ensuring that we make these ones more like a template, an example,
Yes, sir.
or role model
Yes,
that they
sir.
essentially
Role model,
could learn from or could emulate. And the church now also seeing to the fact that when it comes to our curriculum, the content of our teachings, we seem to ensure the fact that, or we try to ensure the fact that we address the role of a Christian in every sphere of life. Expect problems everywhere, but there's this earnest expectation.
Yes, sir.
The world is looking out for solution providers, and we are, because we are both the salt and the light.
Yes, sir.
And so we need to understand our relevance, the significance of our role, and see how the church harness that, not just by driving the mind of our members towards excellence in all spheres of life, adding value to all spheres of life, seeing ourselves as solution providers, but we must also ensure that we celebrate ours that are also making strides in those areas. Most times get them in to engage the younger ones, engage them to come in to share their skills, their experiences. But we must seem to not just be intentional in grooming the younger ones to excel. We must also be intentional to celebrate our own. And on a final note, ensure that our integrity remains impeccable. The world is looking out for flaws in us.
Truly, and they keep shouting even when they have not seen anything. They just want to find a way to bring that. I have been told now, I think I have less than 2 minutes, so I'll give you 2 questions, one after the other.
Wow.
First, sir, you have assumed the leadership of DTC. Maybe is there any vision you want to share with our viewers as regards DTC?
The leadership of DTC is still the chairperson, our mother in the Lord, Mumijio. So I'm just like a socks.
Good.
I'm just like a socks on our feet. And so trying to keep our feet warm. And so going back to your question again.
Yes, that I said this, let me now say the angle from which I said, let me give context. You've done greatly in all of this space, I know. Particularly, I'll quote, before you became the PICP, as the APICP, I see what you did. Even though I wasn't part of that, I knew what you did with the APICPs within that time of your leadership. And I know what I experienced personally under your tutelage at the college. So I know, and other information I have. So that was the context. I'm saying that, okay, now for DTC, what are the plans going forward?
Honestly, one is the fact that Mom was very specific.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
by Mom, I mean Momijio.
Yeah.
She was very specific in saying, this A, B, C, and D is what God has placed in my hand, and I'm sharing the history with you so that you build around it.
Yes, sir.
And so on the strength of that, we know for sure the direction God is taking us is that we're intending to disciple, not just mentoring,
Yes, sir.
because they are two different things.
Yes, sir.
Mentoring
Yes,
is a
sir.
subset of discipleship. We're trusting the Lord to help us to disciple the children, the preteens, and the teenagers. Not persons that will take over the youth church, no, but the ones that will take over the main church.
Right.
Because the vacancy in the main church is what gave rise to.
Yes, sir.
So they should go for the ultimate, not just the secondary.
Yeah.
And so the essence is to be sure that the race will disciple children. Every child matters. Every child matters. We're to disciple them, make the best of them, and let them be like Jesus wherever they find themselves.
Let them
It's
be
all about
like
Jesus,
Jesus.
wherever they find
I like
themselves.
that conclusion. I would like to take that. But before we go 30 seconds, this has been the journey, the road to Convention 2026. What would be your invite quickly, or your own encouragement for someone watching for what is about to go down next week
Sincerely,
in the Redemption City, sir?
pardon me, sincerely, it's going to be the best of convention we have ever witnessed. I'm looking out for instantaneous, record-breaking events.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so My appeal is that everyone will take advantage of this convention to come encounter God.
Yes, sir.
Particularly the unsaved. I think they need to come in and have a bite of the saving power and the saving grace of Jesus. And so I'm looking out to the fact there's going to be a lot of miraculous expansions and encounters,
Yes, sir.
particularly through our Father in the Lord and all the officiating ministers. So let them come. The church had made sufficient provisions.
Yes, sir.
That I can speak to. When it comes to accommodation, when it comes to welfare, when it comes to security, when it comes, just speak to it. Sufficient provisions, but however, our trust and confidence is in Christ, because some trust in horses, some trust in chariots, but our trust and confidence is in God. It's going to be a serious encounter with the Holy Spirit. Oh, serious encounter. And I thank God for the life of our Father in the Lord. Serious encounter. Most times you don't cherish the prophets that you have until when it gets out there. And so,
Truly. Thank you very much, sir, for coming on the show. There we have it from our very own Dr. Dare Ajayi. And as we go, don't forget, we'll come back again tomorrow, same time, with another discussion and another exploration of Mountain Movers preparation for the convention. As we go, stay blessed, and please do whatever you can to be a part of this convention. You have heard just the list. Time did not permit him to do justice to what he would have want to say concerning the convention starting next week. But please, I encourage you, I join my voice with my daddy and our daddy in the Lord to invite you. Do well to be a part of what God is here to do. Have a lovely day.
The theme is Mountain Movers. My name is Dr. Oluwagbemigadro. I'm a consultant family physician and geriatrician. The Redeemer's Medical Center is an offshoot of the vision that God gave to our mother in Israel, Mommy Gio, Pastor Mrs. Folu Adeboye, some 16 years ago. God gave her the vision to set up a place to attend to the health needs of members of RCCG, and especially visitors and residents of the Redemption City of God. And it was born out of our experience when members were going through the required medical services or healthcare services. And she was able to pull missioners within the mission together. And then she laid the foundation of this place and asked them to set up a place some 16 years ago. By the grace of God, we'll be 16 on the 10th of July, 2026. And we happen to also have been established in the same month as our mother in Israel. So we celebrate our anniversary just 3 days away from our own birthday. So we believe we are our gift, or God's gift to her, and our own gift back to God and back to humanity. Because through this institution, many lives have been saved, many deliveries have happened, many surgeries have taken place. Many people have come in with medical ailments and they've been well attended to. Some people are alive today by the grace of God who could have been dead if they didn't come, or there was no place like the Redeemer's Medical Center. So we return all the glory back to God for all that He has done these past years at the Redeemer's Medical Center. The Redeemer's Medical Center today used to be known as the Redeemer's Health Center. It was established 16 years ago, and because of the mission, policies and principles, the word hospital is not often used in a faith-based organization. So it was set up as a health center, meaning that a place you come to and you find solution to your health needs. However, God really took that little seed that was sown some years ago, and God has made it to mature, to grow into a very big, giant oak tree that is still growing till today. because right from the small services we started offering, now it has grown to become a multi-specialist and what I call a semi-teaching hospital status, because to the glory of God, we have about 7 in-house consultants, from consultant family physicians to consultant orthopedic surgeon to consultant orthopedic surgeon to consultant obstetrician and gynecologist, to consultant pediatrician, and then more consultants are coming in. We also have, a very good team or complement of visiting consultants, from general surgeons to neurosurgeons to cardiologists. We have about 3 cardiologists that offer services here, the radiologists, then neurologists, and then we have a consultant ophthalmologist in-house, and then we also have ENT, ear, nose and throat surgeons also that come around. We offer
The theme is Mountain Movers. The theme is Mountain Movers. The theme is Mountain Movers.